This was a difficult sequence to shoot because anytime you have a bunch of dogs and you introduce this dog, who is a tremendous acting dog, Jed, he comes in and he's pausing at all times, his trainers. Now, the other dogs, to keep them still while he walks in, it was a big feat. They would want to jump up and bark. And we're trying to get him in the position of the phony rubber dog, which
I remember lighting was real important here too, wasn't it? Because of what you were about to get into.
The phony dogs always, the fur doesn't look real.
Yeah.
And I'll show you when you cut to it. If you look really carefully, you can tell that's a real dog. That's not. And of course, it's a wide shot. It works. But now, in a second, we'll cut to another phony dog shot. These are the dogs reacting. That's a phony dog. We had to take the light off it, and there's a phony dog because the fur doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to start to. That's a real.
Yeah, this is good.
And now they all start barking. We're going to start into our effects. Oh boy, here we go. Crack it open.
I love this because now that time has passed, you can look at this and you can see some of where some of where the organism has, what other planets it's been to, what was there, what was on those planets, what did it run into that it had to imitate.
And it's imitated every life form it's been encountered, so who knows? I mean, that it becomes a crab worm dog with its head split open. It's pretty bizarre. And now it's going to shoot carbapole at the other dog. Basically, that's the stuff in Twinkies, and it's really fairly harmless. It looks worse than it is, but splasho. The poor little dog wanted to get out of there quick. But we had the Humane Society with us, and of course now Masser comes in and we do a cheap trick where we throw a dog on him and try to get the audience to be scared. But the tentacles that you see moving around in a minute are actually whips that Rob Bottin is operating, much like Indiana Jones. Great lighting in this set because you couldn't show, you wanted to see nothing, and yet here it comes. Bang now. Yeah. There it goes. Cheap trick off to go the dogs. And here come the whips. There he goes. He's doing a good job with it too. Pulling the whips back in. We used a lot of reverse motion technology, all sorts of things. And you hear this inhuman scream and decide to operate the...
and it's playing on his mind. That's why he's up here. That's right. He's
getting the beer.
Trying to figure out what's going on. That doesn't sound right. We figured he had kind of an early suspicion that something very, very, very wrong was taking place, right?
And he was right.
Yeah, he turned out to be right.
And I love the way you played this character, which was extremely real and a kind of low-key guy. I thought he was really terrific. Took charge when it needed to be done, but...
that was a fun idea, too, of getting to play a character who was not Mr. Fabulous from the top, wasn't Mr. Big, he wasn't the guy who was going to take care of the situation. He was somebody who was going to be sort of forced into it.
And yet he's an extremely reasonable man.
But
he has to do what he has to do. So we're about to see some more trick effects. Now some of the Stan Winston effects are about to take place. That's when Rob was busy trying to pull off the schedule. He asked Stan to come in and do this particular monster, which worked out pretty well.
That's great.
We shot this much later. Much later in the schedule. And there are a lot of folks underneath the set operating this whole thing.
And of course, we're looking at black gobos there with big white X's on them.
You guys are seeing nothing.
We're seeing nothing.
And this is a reverse shot. We actually pull the tentacles in. That's a pretty horrible little reverse shot here of a phony dog getting covered. And off you go.
Let's try the shotgun first.
And that's pretty good. Shoots a little goo out. We discovered that the audience would accept yellow goo or purple goo, but not blood. They got upset if the thing was too red.
That was a tough moment for Masser, I think, having to stop me from shooting whatever this was. I mean, you got to be kidding. Look at that.
He goes the hands up to the ceiling to blast through, and this was, I remember, the first time we ever used the real flamethrower on the set. We had two models, one that wouldn't shoot and one that would, and Keith David's running in to save the day, and he actually gives it a blast with a real one. We were all rather nervous about this. And here comes a very strange, the eyeballs in it that are opening up, and
It's pretty tight quarters here because if he turns any direction with that thing while it's on, you weren't going to have time to get out of the way.
That's correct.
Look at that. Now I love that plant because that was some other planet.
And now we set the set on fire, and then you guys run in and put it out.